The English language has humble beginnings. It developed on a small island nation, survived 2 centuries of repression, and was for a long time considered a crude peasant language. But in the 1400s, it started establishing itself as a language denoting power, and 200 years later, it finally left home. Colonization led the way to North America, India, Australia, and many parts of Asia and Africa. Today, globalization continues the expansion of English use, and as it changes our communication patterns, more and more people use English as a lingua franca. With some estimating over 1.5 billion speakers, scholars now recognize that there is not just one English language, but a variety of world Englishes. These diverse Englishes can vary in almost every aspect of language. Differences in phonology, lexis, grammar, and spelling are perhaps the most well documented. But there are also variations in pragmatics, or how we use language in particular circumstances to achieve particular ends. In other words, pragmatics is about the appropriacy of a speech act in a given context. Researchers within the field of pragmatics often focus on how language is used to convey politeness. One of the most frequently referenced frameworks for politeness today comes from Brown and Levinson, who claim that politeness strategies are universal. In their model, politeness is conveyed through indirectness. Although the pragmatic norm in American English is to convey politeness through indirectness, Israeli English, which is influenced by pragmatic knowledge from Hebrew, does not necessarily follow the same norm. In Israeli English, directness is usually preferred in order to convey politeness. Researchers suggest that this may be because of pragmalinguistic and sociopragmatic transfer. In order to more closely examine these variations in American and Israeli politeness strategies, it is helpful to first consider the nature of English in Israel. Using his 3 circles model, Couture includes Israeli English in the expanding circle. In 1992, he estimated the number of English users to be about 4.5 million. That's 86% of the country's total population at the time. Israeli English is considered an expanding circle variety because of the domains of its use. While the official languages in Israel are Hebrew and Arabic, English continues to permeate many aspects of daily life in Israel, including the public school system, the workplace, and the media. The Ministry of Education in Israel recognizes that English is without question a global language, and accordingly requires English to be taught as a foreign language starting in the 4th grade. Although it is not compulsory to offer English instruction before then, many schools include English in their curriculum as early as the 1st grade. Because proficiency in English is seen as crucial for future success, the policies designed by the Ministry of Education emphasize English language learning. For many Israelis, gaining a command of English during their schooling pays off. English proficiency is seen as an asset in many work environments. An investigation by Cooper and Seckbach in 1977 found that English skills were mentioned in about 10% of job advertisements, and that these advertisements were more likely to be prominently displayed. Although this preference for English proficiency has certainly not declined, language knowledge is not advertised as frequently today. Spolsky explains that this may be because it is so well institutionalized, it is simply expected from university graduates. Exposure to English also occurs on a daily basis through television, radio, the internet, and other forms of media. Spolsky highlights the impact of cable television in Israel, noting that it made it possible to watch programs and movies in English anytime, day or night. He also states that these programs and movies are rarely, if ever, dubbed. Instead, they are usually subtitled. Even commercials targeting a Hebrew-speaking audience, like this one, often use English.
Our new home. I'm so excited. Oh, I forgot to tell you משהו. This is my mother. חמוטיז? She will be sleeping in the salon for כמה חודשים. אוקיי?
מתלבט אם לעבור דירה?
Yes!
תן לנו להקל עליך. עוברים דירה, מצטרפים ל-yes בהתחייבות לשנתיים ומקבלים חודשיים ללא תשלום. כן, רק ביולי, חודשיים ללא תשלום. yes, כוכבית 2080.
In this typical television commercial, the speakers use Israeli English and code switch between English and Hebrew. Television is also a medium through which Israelis are exposed to American pop culture. The following video exemplifies how American pop culture infiltrates Israeli society, and that American pop icons receive the same celebrity status in Israel as they do in America.
בפעם הראשונה בישראל, הראיון עם הגדול מכולם, ג'סטין ביבר!
How are you, Justin? I'm doing all right. I'm pretty tired. I'm getting ready for the holidays.
Yes.
You know, it's been a long summer and a long, year. So.
Yeah. Did you know that you have so many fans in Israel?
Kind of. Like I have a lot of Israel fans online that support me through Twitter and YouTube and Facebook and stuff.
As Justin Bieber just alluded to, social networking sites like Facebook and Twitter are one medium of communication between Americans and Israelis, but there are many others. Communication occurs for a variety of reasons. The most notable reasons are demographic, business and trade related, and political. Demographics play quite an important role in Israeli society. Between 1961 and 2010, over 90,000 immigrants moved from America to Israel. All immigrants are strongly encouraged to learn and use Hebrew in all aspects of their lives, but a constant influx of new immigrants provides ample opportunities for contact with English-speaking Americans who are still learning the language of their new country. Tourism is another source of frequent communication between Israelis and Americans. On average, 23% of all tourists to Israel are American, and in 2010 alone, Israel saw over 600,000 American tourists. Business interests present another reason for communication. The following excerpt from a promotional video produced by Tel Aviv's U.S. Embassy illustrates why a growing number of Americans now conduct business with Israelis on a regular basis.
Standing in Kiryat Gat at a technology park that houses factories of HP, Intel, and Micron. These are three leading American technology companies that have all chosen to base operations here in Israel because of the quality of the workforce, the innovation that Israeli engineers and scientists bring to their products.
This is what we call the ROC room. ROC is the Remote Operational Center. From here we basically manage all the operations that are taking place in the fab itself.
They're outstanding examples of the growing U.S.-Israel economic relationship. It's especially strong in the high-tech sector.
As the ambassador noted, the United States and Israel have strong economic ties. They also have strong political ties. Because of the highly volatile political situation in Israel, negotiations between American and Israeli diplomats occur frequently. The military is another notable context for communication, because officers in the Israeli Defense Forces are trained primarily by United States Army officers. Whether Americans and Israelis are interacting because of immigration, tourism, business, diplomacy, or military training, or for any other reason, the interlocutors are likely to anticipate some variations in phonology, lexicon, or grammar. However, they may be less likely to expect pragmatic variations.